Hey there, welcome to Rum and Code. My name is Matt, and today we're going to be checking out this website to help you learn quick. So, here is the website. It is learnquick.com. It's inspired heavily by the Next.js's course, so this is a website to help you learn the Next.js app router, but today we want to focus on Quick. So, this website was created by La Response Dev, just a community member from Quick, and he went ahead and converted the Next.js course into a course all about Quick. So there's a lot of courses, a lot of chapters, and let's get into it. So what we're going to be making is this fully interactive dashboard. It's a full stack web application. It's going to have a public homepage, a login page, a dashboard with protected authentication routes, and the ability to add, edit, and delete invoices. It's going to be hooked up to a real database, which we're going to set up later. And here's the overview. So there's a lot of things involved in building a full stack website. So you're going to learn things about styling, optimizations, routing, data fetching, etc. You do need to know a little bit about JavaScript and web development. At least it would help for this course. Obviously, I'll be walking through it, and they walk through it as well. If you have any questions, we have the Discord for Quick, with a lot of people willing to help you out. You do need to have Node 18 or later installed, and one of the 3 major operating systems, which I have already set up on my computer. You also need a GitHub and a Vercel, which I also both have already set up. So let's get started. So the first thing is obviously to create a Quick application, and there's a simple command to help you create a Quick application right away. So let's go ahead, move my terminal over to the correct window so you can see it, and let's go ahead and create Quick at latest. And it's going to ask me where I want to put it. We'll just follow along here and say I want it in Quick dashboard. And we do want it to be an empty app. And let's go ahead and have it install our dependencies, install a new Git repository, and sure, why not hear a joke? How do programming pirates pass method parameters? Args. All right. Joke aside, looks like we are all set up. It gives you some links if you want help. But for now, let's just go ahead and continue following down our tutorial here. So next step is obviously to go into that level. So if I cd into it and then open it up, which are the next 2 steps, that should now open that up in my VS Code. All right, let's put these side by side here. All right, obviously we have a little bit more nesting, but for the most part, these match. We have a little bit of extra files, but we can ignore those for now. So scrolling down here, the source.routes, these are, QuickCity uses a file-based routing, so any new routes you place in this folder will automatically give you the URLs associated with those routes. By convention, the components go into the components folder. They don't technically have to, but just one of the conventions that is set up in the starter. We have our public folder. That's where all of these static assets, images, fonts, etc. That's where you should put those, and it'll be copied to the dist folder. An important file is the entry SSR. So that's the entry point for all of the server-side rendered, and you do have access to modify that yourself. I don't believe we're going to, but I guess we'll find out in later courses. Root.txt, this is where the QuickCity provider is. You can see stuff like the router head, the service worker, stuff like that. And then we have our global CSS. Obviously, that's where CSS's properties will go. We have our tsconfig and our vconfig. So these things should already be set up for the most part for us. So we don't need to worry about that too much. And so next we go into our placeholder data. So we're going to be building user interfaces. And obviously, eventually, that'll be hooked up via database, but until we get that, we should probably have a way of hitting something. So we can download this right here. Otherwise, it looks like I can just copy and paste. So let's go ahead, make a new file. And it looks like it's already in the source. So lib/placeholder-data.js. If you didn't know, you can just do that and it'll create that folder automatically for you. I should probably make these things bigger. And hopefully that's all a decent size. Sorry about that. All right. So eventually we'll be using that data to seed the database. Let's get rid of that for now. All right. It looks like we also have some TypeScript definitions that we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and make a new definitions file. We can go ahead and copy and paste that. It does a little bit of explanation here. So this is letting you know that this is the status has one of these two statuses. So it's a string union. And if I go ahead and hover that, you'll see that sure enough, this can be any string versus this has to be one or the other. I definitely recommend using TypeScript if you're not using it yet. Sure, it's a little bit to learn initially, but once it is set up and you learn it, it makes coding so much easier. All right, so since we have a little bit going, we should be able to just go ahead and run this. So let's copy that code and npm run start. Console Ninja is just an extension I have in my VS Code. Helps me see the output inside of the VS Code. And there we go. This uses Vite in the backend, and the default is 5173. And we can see that, sure enough, this is our lovely code. So let's see if I can put these side by side here. And here we go. You can see what we're doing. That's chapter 1. Well, let's keep on going. So chapter 2 here. CSS styling. Obviously, CSS is very important to your website. Allows it to look not just plain text. If you look inside the source folder, see a global.css file. We can add some CSS rules. So it's good practice to implement at your top level. So in your quick application, the global.css is auto included in the source root.tsx. So let's go ahead and bring that up here. I think they said it was in the root, and sure enough, our global CSS is there. Adding Tailwind CSS. An easy way to add applications by adding Tailwind. So if we go to our source routes index folder here, routes index, copy and paste. See what happens. In this file, there's a bunch of Tailwind CSS in here. But as you can see, that did not do what we thought it would, or what you might think it would do. But as you can see here, that is exactly what we should expect. You'll notice the styles are not applied. That's because the Tailwind CSS is not yet installed. Cool thing about Quick is they have a lot of just CLI commands to do things for you. So if I were to stop that, npm run quick, you can see that it has all of these commands. Or if I just do a quick add, which I could have done in that earlier just by going down to add, you can see that has all of these different adapters, integrations. You can add framework of React if you wanted to be able to do React components in your quick application, etc. Or if you know what you want to add directly, you can just do this exact command, and this will just go ahead and add Tailwind. So it tells you what it's going to do. It's going to modify the package.json. It's going to modify our global CSS. It's going to create these files and install these dependencies. All that makes sense and looks good to me, so let's go ahead and tell it to do that. All right. You can see that that should have added some new stuff for us. So let's separate all these tabs, bring this off to the side, close this, bring this over, and sure enough, we can see that it added the post CSS config, added a Tailwind config, modified the global CSS. Let's go ahead and look at that. And sure enough, we do see that. So now if we run the application again, oops, helps if I run the right command. There we go. So bring that over here, and we can see that sure enough, this looks like it was supposed to. And if I make this full screen again, we can see that it does match the picture more closely. So, congratulations, you've learned how to add a Tailwind to your CSS to your Quick application. You can see it's super easy. There's strictly just npm run quick add Tailwind. Good to go. So, Tailwind is a CSS framework that speeds up development and allows you to quickly write utility classes. I really do like Tailwind, and I love that it's simple to add. But we're going to keep going here. So it looks like we're going to be adding something above the P element in the source route. So let's go ahead and copy that. Here's this P element, and we're going to add that and save and make sure I'm still running, which I am not. And there we go. Looks like I added that. So take a little quiz here. What shape do you see? Oh, well, to me, that looks like a blue triangle. All right. So, Tailwind is one of many options, though. You are not constrained to using Tailwind when using Quick. So, in this example, we're going to use CSS modules. So, we're going to go ahead, create this file. So, simple as go ahead, create that file, and ensure that we copy and paste the code. And then we're going to go ahead and import that style. Right now it's just yelling at me because I haven't used it yet. And then if I were to change that div from the Tailwind style, I think I copied that whole row. I did not copy that whole row. Go ahead and do that. We'll just go ahead and change the class here, and I'll refresh the page, and sure enough, nothing changed. So it's the exact same page as before, and that old code was removed. I can go ahead and refresh and show you that that is indeed the case. And once again, I can even go ahead and look here and show you that the class is the CSS module versus everything else is still those Tailwind classes. So if you're used to React, you can see that Quick uses class instead of class name. It's what the browser uses. You can see that all of these use class. React just made a decision a long time ago that they wanted to use class name instead. So what's one benefit of using CSS modules? Okay, let's see if I can get this right. Provide a way to make a locally scoped two components. Let's go ahead. Sweet, got it right. Like I said, there's many options, so we've shown you two, but there's also CSS and JS, styled components, scope CSS, global selectors, use styles, etc. Icons are also important inside of an application. Looks like there is a quickest icons. So this is a streamlined way to add quick icons into your Quick applications. Looks like there's grouped by Bootstrap, Octagon, Hero, etc. So let's go ahead and add that to our application. Open up my terminal, copy and paste to add that. All right, that has been added. And in order to work correctly, you must install the icons into the dev dependencies. And that's what that -d does. So you can hero icons, you can find all the icons on the Hero Icons website. You need to import them from quickest icon/hero icons. So we actually do have that already in our application, just commented out currently. So if I uncomment that and uncomment that, I do believe we should be good to go. So that, oh, once again, helps if I'm running. All right, I added that right icon. So other ways to add icons, as you can see, there's multiple ways of doing essentially everything in Qwik, just like most frameworks. We can just add the icon directly. So we can go to the Hero Icons website, we can find the icon that we want, we can copy the SVG, and then they want us to create a file in the source assets SVG folder. So let's go ahead, open up our VS Code, source, assets, SVG, then think it was hi arrow icon.tsx. Let's see if I got that right. Source assets would be hi arrow right outline. Arrow right outline.tsx. All right, so we can go ahead and just copy and paste this, and then just to get the SVG directly from their site, once again, we'll copy here. After that, we need to update our import. So let's go ahead and do our code. And I already have these both here just so I can flip them right away. And we can see that our icon actually got a little bit bigger here. So if I save, and I can show you, once again, swapping back and forth, the icon got a little bit bigger. So if you're in the application, you see the arrow is still present, and if you're a close observer, it's larger than the previous one. So the advantage of using the SVG icons, you can easily customize the style of the icon. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a default style and add that as a prop here. So let's go ahead and go into our code. Go ahead and add that interface. And then we're going to copy and paste these two lines here. So there we go. And then lastly, instead of size 6, we're going to pass that as the style. So this is by default if you don't pass a style, setting it to height 6 width 6. And then when we go back to our index here, I can say style equals h4 w4. And there we go. Now it's back to its proper size. That's exactly what they did. So congratulations, you just learned how to add icons to your Qwik application. They do have all of the source code on their GitHub, and that is the end of chapter 2. Once again, huge shout out to LaResponse Hopefully I'm saying that semi-okay. That was chapters 1 and 2 of LearnQwik.com. I'll do a couple more chapters next week, but feel free to go ahead and go to LearnQwik.com and follow along by yourself. If you have any other questions, you can head up the Qwik Discord or check out qwik.dev. See ya.